This might be the best AI video generator you can use right now. So Kling just got an upgrade recently from 1.5 to 1.6. And that's exactly what we're going to go over in this video. I'm going to test Kling 1.6 on a series of very tricky prompts and compare it with the top video generators out there, including Google's legendary Veo2. Now, if you haven't heard of Veo2 yet, this is by far the best quality model out there. I mean, it's not even close. But here's the catch. Most of us, including myself, do not have access to this yet. It's only for early testers. So you might be thinking, well, what's the next best option out there? Well, here are some metrics from the Veo2 page. Here it's comparing Veo2 with the leading models out there, Meta's Movie Gen, Kling version 1.5, Minimax, and OpenAI's Sora Turbo. Now, the sections in red are the instances where the competitor video generator was actually preferred over Google's Veo2. So you can see in terms of overall preference, Kling has the highest proportion in red. Same with prompt adherence, so how much the video actually follows the prompt. Kling has the highest proportion in red compared with the other video generators. So from this chart, you can say that Kling 1.5 is the best alternative to Veo2, which we can use right now. And keep in mind, this is just 1.5. So today we are going to go over 1.6. Now, it's really easy to use. All you need to do is log into Kling or sign up for free. I will link to their website in the description below. And then once you're logged in, you can click on AI videos to start generating videos. Now, you actually have two options. You can do text to video, so you can input a prompt here to generate a video, or you can also upload an image and use that as the start or end frame of the video, which I will go over in a second. So let's just do text to video for now. And then at the top here is where you can select the model. So for my first test prompt, I'm going to write an astronaut riding a unicorn in the desert. This is tricky because there's a lot of elements involved and it's probably never seen this in its training data. And if this is your first time using Kling, there's this creativity slider. So if you slide it here, it will be more creative and follow your prompt less. And then if you drag it all the way to the right, it will follow your prompt more literally. I'm just going to leave it at the default of 0.5, and then here is where you can select standard or professional mode. Of course, professional mode is better quality, so I'm gonna select that. And duration and aspect ratio, these are pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to leave it at the default values. And then down here, you can also add in a negative prompt. So these are all the things you want to exclude from your image. I'm just going to leave this blank because when I compare it to other video generators, some of them might not have this negative prompt section. And that's pretty much it. Let's click generate and see what we get. All right, here's what I got. Interestingly, it decided to generate a view from behind. Nevertheless, everything looks pretty decent to me. I mean, this is an astronaut. He is riding a unicorn. The unicorn is walking pretty realistically across this desert. It is kicking up some sand along the way. I mean, overall, this is not a bad generation. And then for your comparison, here is the same prompt using other top video generators. We have Kling's previous version 1.5 over here. We have Minimax over here, and also the open source Hunyuan over here. Now, this first prompt is not necessarily difficult, so actually all four of these video models were able to generate this pretty well already. But let me know in the comments which one you prefer. All right, next prompt, I'm going to write a group of Pomeranian puppies learning to become chefs. This is, again, a tricky prompt because it's something that it has probably never seen in its training data. Plus, it has to be Pomeranian puppies, not just any dog. Plus, they are learning to become chefs, which is quite hard to generate. So let's see if it can pull it off. I'm going to keep all the settings the same and click generate. All right, and here's what I got. This is pretty interesting. So this doesn't look like a normal Pomeranian puppy, which should look something like this. So I'll have to subtract some points there. I don't know if these are necessarily Pomeranians. And for your reference, here's the same prompt with the other video generators. And I mean, all four of them have pretty good detail already. The Pomeranians are very consistent. And interestingly, Kling 1.6 was the only one that couldn't really generate Pomeranians. Alright, next up, your favorite prompt, Will Smith eating spaghetti. Again, I'm going to keep all the settings the same and click generate. Alright, and here's what I got for Will Smith eating spaghetti. Obviously, this is not the Will Smith that I was going for, but maybe somewhere in its training data there is a white guy called Will Smith who looks like this. But I highly doubt it. Now, Kling has historically been the best at generating eating videos, so this dude has no problem eating and chewing the spaghetti. The only noticeable things I can point out in this video generator are the forks. There's just too many forks on the table, and some of them have extra prongs. It's quite uncanny. And for your reference, here are the other video generators using the same prompt. Interestingly, out of all of these, only Minimax was able to generate Will Smith using just a prompt. Now, that being said, Kling also has an image to video feature, so if you really do want to generate Will Smith eating spaghetti, you could generate an image of Will Smith eating spaghetti first, and then upload it into here as your start frame, and then click generate. But note that if you just do text to video, then it can't really generate well-known people like Will Smith. Alright, next up is a very tricky prompt that I haven't seen any other video generator get correct. So the prompt is a princess wearing a beautiful glittery white dress, running away from a massive dragon with glowing red eyes. Disney Pixar animation style. Again, I'm going to keep all the settings the same and click generate. And here's what I got. The princess clearly is not Disney Pixar style. This is a very realistic looking princess. She is wearing a glittery white dress. The dragon is Disney Pixar style, so I'll give it some points for that. It doesn't really have glowing red eyes though, and she doesn't seem to be running away from the dragon. She's just running sideways. And this is exactly the same flaw that I've gotten with other leading video generators. None of the princesses could actually run away from the dragon. Now, in terms of generating videos in this Disney Pixar style, I would have to give the point to Minimax. It's really good at generating this type of style. Okay, next up, let's see if it can generate text. So, the prompt is a neon sign with the text "Subscribe to my channel, Cyberpunk City at night." I will keep all the settings the same and click generate. And here's what I got. So even with the latest model, KLING 1.6, it is not able to generate text well in the video. And for your reference, here are the other video generators with the same prompt. Note that Minimax is pretty good. It's the only one that can actually generate decent looking text in the video. So again, the point here goes to Minimax. Alright, next let's test if it can generate anime. So the prompt is a girl wearing a kimono walking in the streets of Kyoto anime style. I will leave all the settings the same and click generate. And here's what I got from Kling. Again, interestingly, it decided that the view should be behind the girl, which is what we saw from the astronaut riding a unicorn video as well. Now, this does look anime style to some extent. I'll give it some points for that, but the details aren't great. For your reference, here's the same prompt using the other video generators, and interestingly, KLING 1.5 does better than 1.6, at least in terms of anime. You can see this generation looks really good. And also, Hunyuan's generation is also the anime style that I was going for. So it seems like if you're looking to do anime, KLING 1.6 might not be your best option. Okay, next up the prompt is a woman crying. She is very sad and distressed. This is to test out if it can generate more uncommon or extreme expressions. So I'm going to leave everything else the same and click generate. And this is what I got. I must say, this is perfect. The woman is crying. She is clearly very sad and distressed. This follows the prompt beautifully. And for your reference, here are the other video generators side by side. And note that for the top video generators out there, all or most of them could already handle these more extreme expressions. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Alright, next up I want to test its ability to generate higher action scenes. So the prompt is point of view shot of a soldier running through a war-torn city, rifle in hand. The camera moves quickly as explosions occur nearby, throwing up debris. The view dips and swings as the soldier takes cover and fires back at the enemies. Let's click generate and see what that gives us. Interesting. So I actually got this error, generation failed, try a different prompt, even though I was able to generate this using KLING 1.5. So it looks like they might have increased their guardrails. I'm guessing it's because this has something to do with war, which inhibits me from generating this video. Anyways, let's skip to the next prompt then. Instead of a war, let's try a horror film, a swarm of zombies attacking people at a metro station, shaky camera. Again, I will leave everything else the same and click generate. Alright, and here's what I got. I must say the consistency of the people do look slightly better than the previous version of Kling. It's not clear to me which ones are zombies and which ones are regular people. And if you look closely, the hands and the faces still do warp over time as the characters move around. But it's definitely better than the previous version of Kling. And for your comparison, here's the same prompt with the other video models. Interestingly, the newest version, KLING 1.6, doesn't seem to be as horrifying as the other models for some reason. Alright, the next prompt is a colossal sea monster rises from a stormy ocean, its massive tentacles wrapping onto a sinking ship. Again, I'm trying to test it on a high action epic scene. So let's click generate and see what that gives us. Okay, here's what I got. This is a colossal sea monster. It's not really wrapping its tentacles onto a sinking ship though, so I gotta subtract some points for that. Also, the tentacles aren't really consistent either. For your reference, here's the same prompt with the other video generators. Now, none of them are perfect. If I were to pick a winner here, I would actually go for KLING 1.5. Which is again very interesting. I think KLING 1.6 is slightly more censored or filtered for some reason, so it wouldn't let me generate this soldier in a war-torn city. The zombies are less bloody and horrifying than the other generations, and then even with this sea monster, it wouldn't really allow me to destroy a sinking ship. But anyways, let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Alright, final prompt, and then we are also going to move over to a comparison with Google's legendary Veo2. But anyways, the prompt is a massive evil panda looming across the city, destroying buildings, terrified people run away in all directions, high action. Let's click generate and see what that gives us. Okay, here's what I got. This is a massive evil looking panda, I guess. The people don't really seem to be terrified and running away in all directions, however, but do note that the details are really good. The quality of the buildings, of the people, everything is just super sharp and consistent and high definition. It's just that the people aren't scared of this panda at all. In fact, they're like walking towards the panda for some reason instead of running away. And for your reference, here's the same prompt using the other video models. Again, interestingly, I would have to prefer KLING 1.5 in this instance. This is a much more evil looking panda compared to the rest. And then for Minimax and High Law, it seems like they're just copying the panda from Kung Fu Panda, which is kind of funny. This might give you some clues on its training data. Alright, next, I also want to compare KLING 1.6 with the legendary Google Veo2. Now, I don't have access to Veo2 yet, so that's why I cannot show you Veo2 generations with the series of prompts that I just used. However, there are some sample videos online of Google Veo2 with prompts. So I'm going to just copy and paste the same prompt onto KLING 1.6 and then show you how that compares with the Veo2 generation. So the first example is a pair of hands skillfully slicing a ripe tomato on a wooden cutting board. Let's see what that gives us. And here's what I got. It's not bad. It's actually slicing the tomato, whereas, other video generators, including Sora, could not even slice a tomato properly. And, the hand holding the knife as well as the hand holding the tomato looks super realistic. Both hands have 5 fingers. The only flaw I can point out is at the end there, that slice of tomato doesn't look correct to me. Now, this is great compared to Sora, which can't even generate this, but it's still noticeably behind Veo, which can generate this scene perfectly. Alright, here's another sample video from Veo2, which has a prompt, so I'm going to paste the exact prompt onto KLING and see if it can generate this. So the prompt is, a distant shot zooms in to reveal a knight wearing a golden helmet. He begins to charge on his zebra, lowering his lance, charging towards a clockwork octopus. Note that this is a very tricky prompt and even Veo2 could not really get it correct. Anyways, let's click generate and see what this gives us. Alright, here's what we get, and actually the prompt adherence is really good, I must say. This is indeed a knight wearing a golden helmet, He is riding a zebra, he does have a lance, and he is charging towards something. Now, the prompt does say a clockwork octopus. This doesn't really look like a clockwork octopus. That being said, if you compare it with Veo2's generation, it has a lot of flaws too. It's cutting into 3 scenes within these 5 seconds, so it's not really consistent. I would really like to see the knight actually charging towards the clockwork octopus, which I don't see in Veo2. And the way the knight holds his lance also looks quite uncanny. He's also not lowering his lance and charging towards the octopus. So, both videos have clear flaws. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Thanks to AI Portrait for sponsoring this video. A good professional photo on your LinkedIn or business profile makes a huge difference. Now, you could try to take them yourself or get a friend to do so, but most people aren't great at taking professional photos. Or you could hire a professional photo shoot, but this costs over $200 on average, plus you need to schedule a session and spend hours awkwardly posing at a camera. And this brings us to AI Portrait. You can generate a portfolio of professional, high-quality photos in just minutes. Just upload one photo, choose your gender, and it would generate a portfolio of 50 professional headshots in various settings. And it generates this within minutes. So if you're looking for high-quality professional photos without the hassle of a physical photo shoot, AI Portrait is your best bet. Check it out via the link in the description below. Alright, here's another prompt that I got straight from the Google Veo2 site. Now, because these clips are featured on the Veo2 site, these might be cherry-picked examples. This prompt might work extremely well for Veo2, but not other video generators. So there is a slight bias here, but nevertheless, I'm going to copy this prompt and paste it in Kling and see what we get. So the prompt is a cinematic shot, captures a fluffy cockapoo perched atop a vibrant pink flamingo float in a sun-drenched LA swimming pool, etc., etc., etc. So let's click generate and see what that gives us. And here's what we got. I mean, this is not bad. The dog does move very realistically. The flamingo float also looks pretty realistic as it floats on the swimming pool. The only flaw is the head of the flamingo is not correct. It's missing eyes, plus the whole head and neck is furry for some reason. And for your comparison, here are the 2 videos side by side. Alright, next Veo2 prompt. This medium shot with a shallow depth of field portrays a cute cartoon girl with wavy brown hair sitting upright in a 1980s kitchen. Her hair is medium length and wavy. She has a small, slightly upturned nose and small round ears. She is very animated and excited as she talks to the camera. Let's scroll down and see if it can generate this. And this is what we got. This is actually really good. She does look excited. She is talking to the camera. And here's a side-by-side comparison with KLING 1.6 and Veo2. You can see both of them look very similar. So if you're looking to generate, this like animated 3D scene, you don't need to wait for Veo2. You can use KLING 1.6 right now to generate this. Very impressive. Alright, next Veo prompt. A tracking shot with subject centered in the frame follows an ice skater gliding across an ice rink that appears to be floating amidst the clouds. The skater, clad in a flowing white costume that ripples with every move, exudes an ethereal grace. Okay, and then the background is a swirling canvas of pastel colors and soft shifting clouds, creating a sense of otherworldly wonder. Wow. Okay, well, let's scroll down and click generate and see what that gives us. Alright, here's what we got. Indeed, this is an ice skater, and she is in a white costume that kind of ripples with every move and exudes an ethereal grace. And the background is a swirling canvas of pastel colors and soft shifting clouds. I mean, this is a really good generation that actually follows the prompt very well. Now, here's Veo2's generation. You can see Veo2 does have higher action, but that's not really specified in the prompt, and it looks like she is a figure skater, although the prompt did not specify figure skating, right? It just said an ice skater, so She doesn't need to spin around like this. Now, in terms of does the costume ripple with every move and exude an ethereal grace, I would say Kling 1.6 actually handles that part of the prompt better. But however, in terms of realism and consistency and definition, I do prefer Veo's generation a bit more. But I mean, both of them are really good. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Alright, here's another Veo2 generation which I found, which has a prompt. So the prompt is a futuristic war machine moving through a battle-torn city, multiple camera angles, cinematic. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, this is what we got. This does look like a futuristic war machine. It's not really multiple camera angles, so it doesn't look like we can cut from scene to scene within a 5-second generation. But other than that, I mean, this does look pretty good. And I mean, the details are super sharp and high definition. And for your reference, here's what we got from Veo2. Now, this is a completely different war machine than, the war machine in Kling 1.6. And for Veo2, it does cut to different camera angles within this 6-second generation. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Alright, next up, the prompt is a cat roars while looking at its reflection in the mirror, but instead sees itself as a lion roaring. Let's see if it can handle this. So this is what we got. The cat is indeed looking at itself in the mirror, so it does understand the physics of a mirror. You can see as the cat moves, the reflection is also aligned with the cat's movements. However, the prompt does say that it sees itself as a lion in the mirror, so it's not really covering that part of the prompt. And for your reference, here's the video with Veo2. So you can see Veo2 handles this beautifully. But in terms of actually understanding reflections in a mirror, I would say Kling 1.6 is already really good. Other video generators cannot handle this very well. Next up, the prompt is ballet dancer doing a pirouette on stage. Let's see if it can handle this. Okay, and here's what we got from Kling 1.6. Actually, the whole performance is really good, and this actually looks really realistic. Now, I have zero knowledge about ballet, so I actually need to search up what on earth is a pirouette, and the definition is the act of spinning on one foot, typically with the raised foot touching the knee of the supporting leg. Now, if I look at Kling's generation, I'm not sure if she is spinning and actually doing a pirouette. Anyways, here is Veo2's generation, and I'm also not sure if she is spinning. So, I don't know, I would say it's a really close call here. Both generations could generate this ballet dancer pretty well. None of them could actually do a pirouette spin. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Okay, so that sums up my text to video comparison with the other leading video generators out there, but there is more you can do with this. So let's also cover image to video, which you can also use Kling 1.6 for. So here is where you can upload an image to use as the start or end frame of the video. For example, I can upload this meme photo to use as the start frame, and then you can also enter in a prompt to guide it further. For now, I'm going to leave it empty, and then again make sure I'm selecting 1.6 here because that's what we are testing for this video. And again, I will choose professional mode, which is better quality, and then click generate. And this is what we got. The thing I'm most impressed with in this generation is it really keeps the faces consistent across the entire video. So both the man and the woman do look like the man and the woman in the meme. This is really impressive. And for your reference, here's the same generation using Minimax and Kling 1.5. It seems to me that, Kling 1.6 just has slightly better quality and face consistency. But let me know in the comments what you think. Now, this was quite a boring video. I was expecting them to fight, but they're not fighting. So what I'm going to do instead is write the 3 characters have a fight in this prompt section and click generate again and see what that gives us. Alright, here's what we got, and it looks like they're just having a very polite argument. There's no fist fighting going on. This is quite anticlimactic. Okay, next I'm going to get rid of this frame and let's try something else. I'm going to upload this image of an anime girl with a nice voluminous pair of eyes. Yes, eyes. I don't know what you were thinking. I mean, clearly I was referring to the eyes, Anyways, for the prompt, I'm going to write anime girl talking. And let's see if it can pull this off. And here's what we got. This is really impressive. She's actually talking like an anime girl, Her hands and fingers look correct. Everything looks very consistent. And especially if you compare this generation with Minimax and Kling, you can see Minimax just makes her look really uncanny when she talks, and then the older version of Kling doesn't even get her to talk. So if you want to animate anime photos like this, then KLING 1.6 seems to be the best option out there right now. Alright, next I'm going to get rid of this prompt and get rid of this image and upload this woman being attacked by a zombie. For the prompt, I'm going to write a young woman with a terrified expression. She is being attacked by a zombie from behind. Let's see what that gives us. And here's the result. Everything is super sharp and detailed and consistent. And this looks very realistic. Now, if you compare this with Minimax and the older version of Kling, I would say there's not much of a difference. KLING 1.6 does have higher quality. Minimax seems to make this girl much more terrified, but you do get some more inconsistencies. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Alright, next one, I'm going to upload this image of a girl being chased by a T-Rex. And then for the prompt, I'm going to write a terrified girl running away from a T-Rex. And this is what I got. At least at the beginning of this clip, she is running away from the T-Rex. And again, notice how consistent it keeps her face. For your comparison, here's the same generation with Minimax and the older version of Kling. There's not much of a difference, but note how for 1.6, again, the face of the girl is just much more consistent, and it's just slightly higher detail. Anyways, that sums up my review and testing of KLING 1.6. Hopefully this gives you a sense of how good or bad this is compared to the other top AI models out there. Now, from all these examples, I do think that there's not a clear winner here besides Veo2, which you cannot use yet. But other than that, I mean, they're all pretty similar, including Minimax and Hunyuan. So it really depends on what you want to generate, and unfortunately for now, I think the best option is to actually test out all 3 video generators and then pick the best results from that. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think of all of this. As always, I will be on the lookout for the top AI news and tools to share with you. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Also, there's just so much happening in the world of AI every week. I can't possibly cover everything on my YouTube channel. So to really stay up to date with all that's going on in AI, be sure to subscribe to my free weekly newsletter. The link to that will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.